And number 3 from back in October 2007, that's Take That on Freedom FM. And before Rule the World, you were listening to Greg, who, as he was leaving the studio, gave me this note from his parents, asking me to remind you that he's going to be back on your radio next Monday at 8 p.m. That said, though, and for the next 2 hours, it's all about us, you and me, and the finest romantic, relaxing and chill tracks from the 90s and the noughties. And you know, that's not all, because as well as the music, there are a few things to keep you entertained. After midnight, we're going to get into the triple threat game, while in this hour, we're going to be diving into Tuesday shifting. And if that means nothing to you, I will explain all in a few moments' time. And you know what? This show, it's nothing without you. So why don't you reach out often and early on WhatsApp to 086 206 8888. That's 086 206 8888. Email me at hello@freedomfm.ie. You can find me on the socials, Insta, Threads, Blue Sky, and says.us under my handle, Voice Actor Fergs. Right, I think that the boss will be happy because that's all the admin out of the way. So why don't you and I get comfortable and make this another night cruise to remember? And we're going to do that in 3, 2, 1. She released that in December 1999 and she got to number 1, but not the Christmas one. That's Britney and Born to Please You on Freedom FM's Night Cruise, where, right now, I want to get you in on some Tuesday shifting. Now, if you haven't a clue what that means, sit back and let me run it by you, because I want to hear from you if you are working the late shift tonight. So, whether you're behind a hotel reception desk, stacking shelves in a 24-hour shop, keeping the machines humming in a factory, or driving through the streets in search of a fare, whatever you're up to, the Night Cruise crew and I want to hear all about it. So get in touch. Drop me a message on WhatsApp to 086 206 8888. That's 086 206 8888. And tell us who you are, where you're working, what you're doing, who's keeping you company, if anyone, and what's getting you through your night shift. No shout out is too big or too small. So let's get some Tuesday shifting going, shall we? On 086 206 8888. That's 086 206 8888. It's Freedom FM across Leinster on DAB Plus and streaming around the world on freedomfm.ie. This is the Night Cruise. And let me tell you, my friends, I've just been diving into our big book of nostalgia, flipping back in particular to March 1993, and I can tell you that here in Ireland we were all on our feet cheering on as Steve Collins took down Chris Eubank to claim the super middleweight title of the world. Probably one of the better sporting events for Ireland in the 90s. Meanwhile, over in the States, Sheryl Crow and Bruce Springsteen were cleaning up at the Grammys, adding even more gold to their already serious collections. And elsewhere in the music scene, a relatively unknown band out of Scotland by the name of Simple Minds dropped Hypnotized. Destiny's Child and Say My Name on the Night Cruise on Freedom FM, where, my friends, we're about to dive into our first round of Tuesday shifting shoutouts. And if you're new to our little late night get-together, you might be wondering what this Tuesday shifting malarkey is all about. Well, if you are, let me explain. You see, it's our way of giving a big virtual high five to all the hard-working legends keeping things moving through the night shift across the country. So, let's start by saying good evening to Tim Lang, who's checked in with us while doing a warehouse stock takeover in Lucan, counting up what's left on the shelves before heading into the office to sort out orders for delivery for tomorrow evening. Tim, thank you for reaching out, and as someone who used to work in warehousing in a previous life, here's hoping that once the numbers are crunched, you can put your feet up and soak in the tunes for a bit. Staying in Dublin, Abby Gregory tells me on this WhatsApp that she's holding the fort at an A&E reception. Abby says it's a quiet one tonight, so she's making the most of her break. Tea, biscuits, and Freedom FM in her earbuds. Abby, fingers crossed it stays nice and peaceful for you and the team tonight. Now, listen up, because if you're out there working late, you know, we want to hear from you. So send me a WhatsApp or text to 086 206 8888. That's 086 206 8888. And tell me who you are, where you're working, and what's getting you through your night shift. But be quick, though, because I'll be reading out the final round of shoutouts for this evening right after we take a ride on Ronan's roller coaster. Oh, that's just filled with fantastic slap bass vibes. That's Shola Ama's brilliant 1997 cover of Randy Crawford's 1991 hit You Might Need Somebody on Freedom FM, where, my friends, we need to squeeze in one final round of Tuesday shifting shout-outs before we all end up in Wednesday morning. And if you don't know the Tuesday shifting drill, simply put, it's where we tip our hats to all of you powering through the night, working hard on the late shift, keeping the world ticking over while the rest of us snooze. So, with that said, let's say a big hello to Eric Banks in Baldonnell, who's working hard in online fulfillment tonight, all the way through till 6 a.m. Eric says it's the tunes and the Gabes on Freedom that's keeping him going tonight. Eric, thank you for reaching out, and stay strong on your shift, won't you? And finally for this evening, our last Tuesday shifting shout-out goes to Dawn McKee, who's on call as a care worker across South Dublin tonight. She's stationed at the company's base, ready to jump into action if any of her clients need her. Dawn says it's the holy trinity of the night shift: music, coffee and chocolate that's keeping her going. Dawn, thank you so much for reaching out, and I really do hope it stays quiet for you tonight. Anyway, I want to say thanks to everyone who got in touch, and if I didn't get to your message, I really appreciate you reaching out. And to get involved again next Tuesday, just drop by this parish here on Freedom FM about 11 o'clock in the evening. Now, don't go anywhere, because coming up in the next hour, we're going to get well and truly mixed up in the triple threat game.